If you're into astrology, creativity, the healing arts, any of the wisdom traditions from around the world, you love nature, and you want to know what the Chironium is, stick around and find out. Hello and welcome to the Chironium. My name is Tyler Penor, and welcome to really the first official video of this YouTube channel. So by profession, I'm actually an astrologer, and I've been doing that for the past 9 years. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I created the School of Living Astrology. And 4 years ago, I built a website and created 2 online programs, which I now run, and they begin each year in spring. And that's really how this all came about. And I've kind of had this vision to create this YouTube channel for the past 2 years. And it really kind of came from my discovery of this new passion and love for photography and videography and my creative side, and being able to merge my creative side with the work that I do with astrology. And so in this first video, I figured I might as well just share a little bit about the background, share why I created this channel, what's the vision for this channel. I never knew I was going to become an astrologer. It's kind of an odd job too, and people ask you, what I do for a living, and it's sometimes awkward. Oh, I'm an astrologer, and they think, oh, so you tell the future and all that kind of stuff. That's not anything of the work that I do. I have a very different, take on astrology and the way I work with it. I never thought I would be an astrologer. I used to do construction work, and I thought that's probably what I do for a living. Throughout my journey in my life, late teens and stuff, I got into some pretty heavy addictions and came near death in a way, and went through my own transformation and healing journey. And that's how I kind of came across, this perspective that I wanted to help people. We all go through struggles, we all go through hard times, and if I can share a bit about my story or share something that I've learned along the way with someone to help them, then that's what I want to do. And so that's really what kind of brought me to where I am now. So I've always studied astrology. Since I was 15, I kind of came across this book. I think it was called The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need, and read that and realized there was this whole birth chart, and got my birth chart, put in all my information, got that, and realized, wow, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more than just this 12 sign thing, That's how I really got into it, and I started studying it a lot, just a little bit for fun, and then as I got deeper into it, really seeing that there was something to it. And the way my mind works, I like to figure things out. I really enjoyed problem solving when I was young, and so astrology, offers this whole kind of depth of a study, that you can really dive into, and there's a lot of different perspectives and angles, and it really takes into account a lot of different layers of really what it means to be a human being. And so that's what I enjoyed about it, and so it always kind of stayed with me even through my darker times of addictions. And when I went through that transformation, it was something that was there, seeing different cycles and seeing how that was kind of a part of the whole thing. So when I came out of that and I started, following different kind of healing traditions and healing myself and really reconnecting with myself and my life, and really getting into going out in nature and being in nature was something that really was healing to me. And so I guess the way living astrology, which is what I named the type of astrology I do, the way it came about, I'd studied astrology, and maybe you study astrology as well, and I kind of sought all that information and knowledge, and it just kind of, I got to this place where it was like I was just oversaturated with all of this information and all these different opinions and what's right, what's wrong, Eastern astrology, Western astrology, all this stuff, basically reading every book I could find on it. And I just felt like something was missing. And so I kind of stepped back from all of that, and this question kind of started to arise within myself, which was like, where did this all come from? I kind of thought back to like before, our modern day, before we had books of astrology and before we had the internet, and all these things to tell us what it is. I was like, where did it come from? It's almost like who discovered it, how this works, where did this art come from? So that question kind of sat with me, and I was searching for something in astrology, but gathering all the information and all the knowledge that was available wasn't really kind of satisfying what I was looking for. At that point, I kind of just stopped the studying and I just turned to nature, and I realized while I was out there, I was like watching nature, watching how it moves, observing the seasons, and how they change, and realizing this, astrology has to do with time in these cycles. It was out there in nature. I was sitting by a fire, and I think I was out camping and sitting under some cedar trees and looking up at the stars, and I just kind of sat with that question of like, where did astrology come from? And kind of had the thought, well, there's the elements, there's fire, earth, air, water, and the signs. Thought about the seasons, and through that question, it was like nature responded. It was almost like a vision in a way. In that kind of moment, there was this kind of download of these stories, these stories that connected all the parts of astrology. And it was just like this big epiphany, it was like, that's the truth, how nature moves, and we're built of nature, and we're reflections of nature. Astrology was born out of wise people paying attention to how life moves, and nature is a part of that. Everything in nature is comprised of those 4 elements: fire, earth, air, water, and they interact, and there's different expressions of them. And so that's really where it started. I received these stories in a way, and I started sharing them with friends. Whenever the topic of astrology came up, I was like, oh, well, think about it like this, and I kind of went through this story through the signs and the planets, and kind of connected it to nature and the elements and our own experience of life as a human. And I kept getting the same response from everybody. They kept saying, I've never heard it put that way before, but that makes total sense. And people kept saying that to me, like, that makes so much sense. And then after that, they started actually saying, hey, well, do you read charts? Do you read charts? Can you look at my chart? And I'd never known how to look at someone else's chart. I only knew the things of looking at my own chart and these stories that I now had. So I started looking at my friends' charts and people who would ask me, and I didn't know the proper way to do it, but I just used these stories. I used these stories that were given to me from nature, and that's what I utilized in kind of looking at someone's chart and making these connections for them. And the results were, pretty amazing. I kept getting asked over and over again, and it kind of got to the point where it was almost like, okay, well, I'm getting asked a lot to do this. My friends, they told their friends, and they told their friends, and before you know it, I was like, well, I guess this is a thing. I guess I'm gonna do this. And so that's how I got started on this path of being an astrologer, is really through being asked by people, and really just through sharing these stories of nature and just looking at people's charts and connecting them, with nature and the elements, and it just made sense, and I think that's the main point. The elements, we interact with them through the senses, and with astrology filtering through nature and the elements, it just makes sense. So that's how that came about. And then after a while, I started getting asked from people, well, you should teach this. Well, you should teach, these stories and these patterns. You should teach this way of astrology. So again, after getting asked over and over again, I was like, okay, I guess I'll make a school or something, or put a program together. And that's how the School of Living Astrology started. So I started to teach, it was these in-person, classes where I just shared those basic stories of, the signs, the planets, and the houses, and their direct connection with the elements and nature. And the school was started. And then after a while, people who couldn't come in person, they had heard about it, and they just asked, well, you should put this online. You should make some online programs. And so that's how the School Living Astrology Online was born. And so I went through this whole process of learning, how to build a website, and at that time, I wasn't very computer savvy. I didn't really know how to do all those things. So I kind of just started from scratch, and I built a simple website, started, building these programs. And so in order to build the programs, I had to get a camera. I've never been a photographer. I've never owned an actual nice camera. So I just bought, I think it was like a Canon Vixia or something, just this basic camcorder, and started recording these videos, put this program together, and by the end of it, it took a whole year. I made 60 something videos and made 2 programs out of it. When I finished building the program, a friend of mine who she was in film school and stuff, she was like, oh, we should make some videos of you, let me do like an interview with you. And so she made these kind of cool videos, and she had, a DSLR, she had this Canon, and the video quality was so much better than, you know, my camcorder. And I kind of was like, it dawned on me at that moment, like, oh, I could do that. I could make better quality videos. Maybe I should invest in like a nice camera. And so at that time too, that was when this new camera, this new Sony camera was out, and it was a mirrorless camera, and it did video and photography. And so I ended up getting that camera, and it only took a couple times going out with the camera and taking some photos, and I was like, wow, I really love this, going out in nature and capturing beautiful moments. And that's how that was born. And that was about 2 years ago when I got the camera. And so now, and anybody close to me knows, you know, by seeing me on Instagram or whatever, that I love photography. And actually about 6 months ago, I started actually shooting film, and I now am very much obsessed with shooting films. So through the camera, I found this passion for photography, cinematography, and trying to make nice videos. And so through all of that, that's really how this YouTube thing, you know, came to be, is that I love creating things. I love capturing, you know, things with photography. And so I had this vision of starting a YouTube channel, which is kind of a way for me to be creative, share things that I'm interested in, share different teachings on astrology and a bunch of other things as well. And that's really the vision for this channel, you know. And the reason why I called this channel the Chironium, the Chironium comes from Chiron. It was Chiron's healing temple where he, you know, taught all the demigods, you know. And he's an old, you know, mythical being. He was a centaur, half human, half horse. And, you know, he was a healer, and he was a teacher, and he was a teacher of, you know, the sacred arts. Essentially, he taught music, creativity, and astrology, and alchemy, and medicine. You know, he taught all of those things, those really the healing arts. And I've grown as an astrologer to have this affinity to the planet Chiron, and my whole line of work too, my whole perspective of astrology and everything really follows along with that path of Chiron. So Chiron's something that's a really important part of my life. And so so I named my website the Chironium, and really everything I do, you know, in my work with astrology is Chiron is kind of leading the way. So I figured this channel, you know, I don't want it to be just about astrology. Astrology is going to have a big part of this channel because it has a big part of my, you know, my daily life, how I live, how I see things, and a lot of the teachings that I like to share, and anything that Chiron taught. That's kind of the things I'm into anyway: music, creativity, you know, art, astrology, and alchemy, and plants, and nature, you know, all of those things, you know, all the good things in life. So that's kind of the umbrella of what a lot of these videos you'll find here on this channel are going to be about. So if you're into any of those things, you know, maybe consider subscribing to this channel and like this video, you know, all those things that YouTubers ask you to do. You know, hit the little notification bell so you'll be notified when things come and new content comes out. But yeah, I just want to share this journey with you. You know, I'm starting on this journey of creating a YouTube channel, and I really enjoy getting to know people as well, and having good conversations. And I want to build this community larger, integrating it too with the School of Living Astrology, and having a place just where kind of, you know, we can all gather and talk and learn from one another. And I just feel like YouTube is a really cool community to do that. So yeah, just allowing me to connect more with people out there and share what's in my heart, share the things I really enjoy. And like I said, be able to be creative with this camera here and put it all together kind of, you know, and so that's kind of the goal of this channel. And so I guess I'm inviting you to come along with this journey and help me to make it a good channel. You know, tell me what would you like to see too, you know, as this goes. Maybe you have ideas of things you want me to look into, or things you want me to talk about or share, you know, or teach, whether it be about astrology or myth or any of those things. And yeah, we'll kind of create this channel together. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the first video. I just felt like I should share about myself, share about my vision for the channel, share kind of what, you know, what this is going to be about. So also, if you have been following along and you're curious about this School of Living Astrology, enrollment actually is open right now. I open enrollment every spring for both programs, you know, because we move along with the seasons. I teach these programs with the seasons, and we learn astrology that way. And one of the programs is very in-depth. You know, you basically get one video a week. We have monthly conference calls, and it's this more communal thing. And then the other program is one video a month, and it's really focused on, you know, the archetype of the signs themselves. And so you get one video a month, and so both programs go over the course of a year, with actually the bigger program, the Soul Online program, being 15 months, and then the smaller program, which is called the Seasonal Cosmology program, that's a 12-month program. So if you're interested in that, actually, you know, there'll be links below this video that will take you to my website and take you to the programs page, and you can read all about that and that journey, and it'd be really great to have you along if that's something you're into. You know, the programs, they start on the equinox. Basically, enrollment will close in about a week from now, depending on when you're seeing this video. So yeah, that's, I guess, what I wanted to share in this video, and thanks for taking the time to watch it. Thanks for tuning in with me in this first video, and maybe I look a little awkward. I don't really know how to talk to a camera very well like this, but I'm gonna learn, and that's kind of another thing, is getting over my kind of fear of talking to a camera, especially because, you know, I teach online programs, and can maybe help me get better at feeling more comfortable in front of the camera, so I can create better content, you know, for my students and for you guys as well, you know, here on this channel. So thanks for tuning in. Again, please subscribe down below this video, you know, click that notification bell, like the video, all those things. My goal is to try and get a video out at least every other week to start off, as I'm kind of learning this process. So yeah, stay tuned, and thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video. Hello there, and welcome to the Chironium. My name is Tyler. Hey there, and thank you so much for stopping by my channel here. Hello, and welcome to the Chironium. Hello there, and welcome. Hello, and welcome to the Chironium. Hello there, and welcome to the Chironium. My name is Tyler Penor, and hello there, and welcome to the Chironium. My name is Tyler Penor, and I am also the founder of the School of Hello there, and welcome to the Chironium. My name is Tyler Penor, and I suck at this.